I interview you, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the project. So, because next month is Women's History Month, I want to do kind of like a focus on women, all kinds of women from all kinds of backgrounds, because we all go through so many different things just on a day to day basis being women, whether it's black, white, brown, whatever, short, fat, tall. We get so much discrimination, so much, like sexism and racism and all kinds of things, and just I don't think we get uplifted enough. So I really want to focus on people's stories and just learning about different women, because I think the commonality amongst all of us is that we are women and we go through a lot of the same things, even though it may be a different kind of situation. So I think getting to hear people's stories and kind of allowing them to talk about themselves and promote the good things as well as the bad, or and talk about the bad things in their lives, that kind of will make us realize that we really are alike in so many ways, no matter where we come from, what kind of background we have, or anything like that. So I'm glad that you want to do an interview with me.
Okay.
So is Loud your real name?
Loud, is it? No, it's my artist name. My real name is
Okay.
Yara.
Okay. Oh, I like that name. That's
Thank
really
you.
pretty. Um, so what kind of artist are you?
Just an overall creator. I'm a producer of just whatever comes in my head at all times. So I started off as like a painter. So that started
Mm,
from school, just painting on things, drawing on things, my clothes, myself. And then my girlfriend and I created a 501c3 called Urban Zoo. And
okay.
then so we expounded this like being artists into the community. So then we started hosting art gallery events and art
That's
gallery
awesome.
parties and networking events for artists. And that brought the community together. And we drove this giant art van throughout the city and just did all kinds of stuff like that. And then now I've started another business called called Flowerfly Lifestyle.
Yeah, which is the one I actually see on Instagram, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
really dope.
Thank you. Yeah, that's going crazy because it's helping position me in the cannabis community, which
Hmm.
I'm really fond of, and I really like this community. But I get to come up with all kinds of unique and aesthetic herbal blends that are not only helpful but beautiful. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I really want reflected is, and I love that you're promoting femininity because that's
Mhm.
exactly what this is. Considering that the cannabis plant is a female, I
Really?
think
And you
that
know what? I didn't
yeah,
even know that. So I just learned something new.
it's definitely a feminine plant. So I want that energy. Just the love of flowers, and that goes for any gender and however you identify. Though that
Yeah,
balance is so important, and
yeah,
we do live in like things are very hyper masculinized. Masculinized, is that the word?
yeah,
So
yeah.
masculine. I don't know, so masculine. So it's like I definitely embrace the masculine within myself, but I do understand the importance of the feminine as well.
Yes.
That has to be put out there just as importantly.
And it's really important that there's a balance of,
That's what it is.
masculine and feminine. Because I was actually researching the other day that I think up until 1959 there were more women than men, and then it kind of equaled out. And so
Mhm.
now for like every 100 women there are 101 men. So we're pretty
Okay.
close in numbers now, but it's just like even still being that close, we're still so overpowered in a lot of ways, and we're kind of like blotted out, like we have a voice and sometimes they just won't let us talk, and then when they realize they done screwed up or something that went wrong, like dang, we should have just listened to the women.
Well, I think it's important that like as far as being a woman, there is a power in being a woman. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily physical, and
Right.
we've been taught that physicality, the bruteness, and how you talk to someone and being able to just aggression means power. But
Yeah.
the wonderful part about being a woman and identifying as a woman or female is that there's power in being gentle.
Hmm.
There's power in beauty.
Hmm.
There's power in understanding and even just a gentleness of our level of communication sometimes to say, hey, our just like how I think I saw somewhere, and I'm not sure if this is fact, but I thought it was just really cool that it said that women see more colors than men.
I could believe that.
Now, I don't know if that's true, but I really like that because it's just showing the expansion of the level of how we could communicate just as differently and just as vastly too.
Hmm.
We do it differently, and so it's like even men, need to, like, I don't know, it's just it's important for them to understand that too, that the feminine things and the beauty in things are powerful, are just as powerful.
Yeah, and I really think that like now women have this perception that we have to be aggressive and loud just to get our point across or to be heard, when
Right.
really being subtle and quiet is what draws people in and makes them listen. Like, okay, she's got something to say, but she's not saying it, so what is it? So I really have been working on embracing my own femininity, because I definitely used to be a yeller. I'm 4'11", so I feel like sometimes I have to be loud so people can hear me, but I'm really learning the art of like owning my femininity. So it's really awesome
That's
that
right.
it's being promoted more in people's businesses, and it's being talked about more. And it's just, it should be replicated. Well, I wouldn't even say replicated. It should be displayed in a better light, because I think people assume that being feminine is like weak, like it's a weakness, and it's not.
For sure. For sure. Absolutely. I mean, even first of all, I think being a female is we should be whatever we want to be at any time.
Hmm.
So whether we feel like being loud, whether we feel like being aggressive, whether we feel like whatever, being a woman or identifying as female is not just about the soft and quiet. Don't get me wrong, it's not just about that.
Right.
But as being a female in these hyper masculine spaces, it is so important that we do embrace just whatever our quality is and not letting our gender or how we identify be the restriction
Right.
in a space. So, like, being an entrepreneur, I'm a lot of times in spaces with like just a lot of guys, just because that just happens to be the case. And I do try to make a conscious effort to make sure that I'm speaking up. I say what I have to say, and I'm looking these men in the eyes and shaking their hands firmly and giving them
Hmm.
a smile, because I want to be able to communicate with
Yeah.
them and show my presence there as well.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's funny you said that, because the whole reason behind Meet the Sublets is actually a brand that me and my wife started, and we
Mm.
started it as a way for um, women to see a different journey, because we go through so many things in a relationship, in a job, friendships, and those kinds of things, just life in general. And
Mhm.
sometimes we often feel like, are we the only people that's going through this? Like, it
Right.
can't be just me. So we started showing the different things that we go through in our lives, just kind of to as a way for people to relate. But with growing our platform, we've had so many different women be able to come on and tell their stories, or just kind of, whatever it is that's going on, and they're just free to be whoever they are. So the whole point of our brand is just for us to be our most authentic self, however that looks for that individual. And I think in some ways we all relate to one another, but we're so busy trying to live up to societal norms and trying to be who people tell us we need to be, instead of being who genuinely makes us happy. So
Right. Oh man. And that journey to happiness, that's everything. That should be
yeah.
what all of this is for. And it's very easy to lose sight of that, especially with social media. I mean, it teaches us to compare.
Yeah.
It teaches
Yeah.
us. And it is true that the algorithm teaches women to have lower self-esteem. It does affect
Hmm.
women in a very particular way. So
Yeah.
we have to be so careful about protecting our energy, especially when it comes to social media,
Yeah.
because you end up comparing and acting like you have it all together, and it's just like that's just not life, and that's not realistic, and it's just like a highlight reel of our lives. So I am working on being just more authentic and growing a business. Everything's not pretty, everything's not
Right.
organized, everything's not like a
Man.
stereotype, like, oh, this is perfect. That's just not the case. It's not realistic. I even mentioned to someone that at one point in my life I was homeless, and she was like, I'm very surprised that you shared that. And I didn't even realize, like, but it's true. Like, I had to say it because it's part of my story.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, it's like, I'm not saying that I'm dwelling on that issue, but it's more like, and it's funny part is that she could relate to me. And I really love that moment that we had, because it's like, you don't even realize, like, people that look like they got it together, like, what's that saying? Thank God I don't look like what I've been through.
Yes. Oh my
You know what I'm
gosh.
saying?
Yes. And it's
Like,
so funny you say that, because in this exact moment, me and my wife are going through the same thing. We had a horrible landlord last year that put us out, and it's been an ongoing thing with COVID and all kinds of things. So we've
oh
been
man, it's
really
hurting.
focused on continuing to grow our brand, continuing to share our stories. And we've been blessed to have people who understand, and they've helped us and with different things. But it's all a matter of being honest. And that's some, I don't ever hide anything that I've gone through, or who I am, or anything like that, because you never know who can relate, or you never
Right.
know who has gone through that and they feel like they can't speak out about it. And then, like, if you say something like, oh, like, hey,
Yeah.
let me reach out to her and maybe we can talk about it. So the whole
Right.
point, like, I feel like no matter what I go through, that can help somebody, good, bad, unsure. So I choose to share, because not only well, it may help someone, but like no one could use that against me. You know what I mean? Because people try to throw things in your face, like, "Oh, well, you didn't have a job, or you didn't do this." Well, no. If you listen to the story that everyone else knows, you'll know the truth. But you can't hold that over my head, because that's just a part of my story. That's
Right.
the journey
Yes.
that I'm on. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm really glad that you are open like that. A lot of people can't be open, and really,
It's worked for me. I'm gonna tell you like that. It has worked for me. Like I can't stick to like some facade that's just not true. Like I've been through way too much in my life to act like, oh, I've figured everything out and everything was wonderful. Like that's not what it is. But what I had to come to the conclusion of was that happiness is work.
hmm
So it
you have
doesn't
to
just
choose to
come
be
like,
happy.
oh my God, today I'm happy. It's like you have to make a conscious choice and it has to be consistent too. It's not just like today I feel this way, and I understand that, I've dealt with depression and anxiety. It's not that,
hmm
even that thought is not always, quick to come up immediately, but it does have to be a consistent thought. You got to
Yeah.
train yourself that happiness is a choice. And how I feel like right now in my life is I don't take any L's because it's all lessons.
Right. You learn
I
from
haven't I
everything.
haven't made not one mistake in my life just because it's all been a lesson.
Right.
So if there's
Yes.
if there's anything to come out of that, it's that attitude of, dude, I've been through worse. Like I know what it's like to have absolutely nothing. And with my girlfriend and I, we did so much with so little. I mean, we
hmm
were voted, like, for one of the years we were voted, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
We were voted Charlotte's like best art gallery event.
Oh
You know what I'm
wow.
saying?
That's
And that's
awesome.
when we were servers at a restaurant.
But you still
So
was doing it though. You made it happen.
yes,
Yeah.
so it had nothing to do with like having a huge budget or anything. It's the creativity. So
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
care what you have. If you can be creative, you can crawl out of it somewhat. Now, I'm not saying finances are not important,
They
but
are.
that's when I had to get educated on my finances too.
Yeah.
So it's
But
not like I can
finances
just,
aren't everything. I feel like a lot of people's happiness are tied to finances. Like if you have money, you're happy. If you're broke, you're sad. And it's just like you have to understand that money comes and goes. It takes
yeah,
money to make money. You have to buy
very
things. You
true.
have to, like you can't hold on to every penny that you make, because then you're going to be rich, but you're going to be miserable. You're not doing anything you like. You're not buying yourself nice things from time to time. Like yeah. There's so
I
many
feel like
people
with
that I
money,
know that are like
do it the
that.
smart way. Be
Yeah.
with money, be smart about it, and invest in yourself. Absolutely. Now, when I didn't have a lot, it wasn't like I was like splurging or anything like that.
hmm
But it was more so I learned about credit. I was just I could afford to watch YouTube videos, right?
right.
So
Right.
it was just I learned about my credit. I learned money has to flow. So even holding on to it, you actually lose value in your money by just holding on to it. Put it into something. I learned the financial value of starting a business. So for me, I have an LLC, Flowerfly Lifestyle LLC. I learned the financial value of having an LLC, and that's been awesome. Like I highly recommend everyone. What I highly recommend seeing if registering your business is the appropriate thing to do, because for my situation, it really really worked out.
I guess my internet doesn't like this at this moment. Okay. Oh, do we work now?
Well, yeah, as long as the
Okay.
point is across, yeah, as long as
Yeah, yeah. But
that's
I've really been doing a lot of research as far as like registering your LLCs and things like that, because we went full time entrepreneur last year. We actually lost our jobs due to COVID. So a lot of last year was trying to figure out how to run a business and put it together without having the extra income, because we were working towards it. But when it happened, because we had been kind of teetering, like, okay, should we just go all in, or should it just be part time right now? And so we
Mhm.
were really working our 9 to 5s. And once we lost those, we were like, well, we have no choice but to just go all in and figure it out. So a lot of researching and watching, taking webinars and things like
That's
that.
wonderful.
There's a lot of good information out there, but what I've learned, a lot of people who would find this knowledge don't want to share it. So you
Mhm.
really have to research yourself, but it's hard if you don't know where to start. So like if I find a little bit of like information that I think is useful, I try to drop it and give it to people that can use it because you just need a place to start. You know, like you got to start somewhere, but if you don't know where to start, that makes it hard. And I know everyone has to make a dollar, but sometimes like helping other people will get you a lot further than just taking
It
it with
does.
you.
I mean,
And
I even consider, I know that's not one of the official love languages, but I do consider sharing information like my love language because I'm the same exact way. Like you know that I care about you when I'm telling you something that is
Mhm.
true and honest, is as
Yeah,
honest as I can make it. You know,
yeah,
because I want to share that. When you get something good, you want to share that. You know what I'm saying? So if I
yeah.
put you on to send you a link to something or put you onto a program or tell you at least what my situation was and how I worked it out, like that's me caring about you because it's like I want you to do better. And I know that we don't know each other very well, but I'm very proud of you guys for just doing what you can with what you have
Thank you.
because
I appreciate
that's
that.
everything. That's everything.
Yeah.
It
And
doesn't
my
matter.
whole goal is I want to see the betterment of us, everyone.
Yeah,
We all there's room for everyone. You know what I mean?
absolutely. I don't
So
have no competitors, like because no one can be me.
right. There's only one me, so why am I worried about what you're doing? Like if I know something that's going to benefit you, I'm going to tell you that because I want to see you be successful. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
wish more people were like that because I feel like a lot of people would be in much better spaces if we just worked together.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's you know that's that loving idealism. And in
Mhm.
reality, that's what we all need.
Mhm.
But I think that so many of us, we've just become so disconnected with each other, like, especially with COVID. That was like, we've all gotten so introverted. I'm going to speak for myself. I got even more introverted than I usually am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like the internet becomes this wall and it helps for us to all connect. But I know that these people exist because the more that I put my business out there and myself out there, um, they're coming into my gravitational sphere,
Mhm.
which I
Yeah.
really, really appreciate because it lets me know and it always reminds me that I'm not alone, and that my story is valuable to someone.
Yes. Very.
Someone's going to feel me,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And it's funny because my wife actually ran across I think it was a picture of one of your cones. And she
Mhm.
sent it to me, and I followed you from our Cosmic Snack page because that's our food business. We vend at like events and things like that. And we're actually hosting our first event tomorrow,
That's
which will
wonderful.
be a 420 friendly event. So we're excited about that.
Yep.
But when she ran across it, I was like, oh my God, the art is what drew me in because I dabble in graphic design a little bit. I like to do digital art. I don't know if I'm the best at it, but I'm practicing. So it grabbed my attention and I was like, oh yeah, this is totally dope. So that's what made me reach out to you because I was like, I really connected with your art. So
That's wonderful, and I'm glad that you felt that because I put all of my personality into this business.
mhm.
I love flowers. I love colors. I feel like my vibe is pink. Like my aura is pink. It's just like this
Yeah.
rosy, optimistic,
Yeah.
luxurious color. You know,
Yeah.
what I'm saying like that. Like if you ask, like if I could put like I don't know some kind of color shield, it would just be rose. Everything I want to look at is this
And you know
beautiful.
what? I get that. I like I
Yeah.
totally can see that like around you. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just man because it's like it's that it goes back to that that happiness is it's a choice and it's work. And I
Yeah.
once I made that conscious decision, it's like I started seeing things as like, man, I know this is a really messed up situation, but if I can get through this, can't nobody tell me nothing. Like
Right.
no
And
one's
that's
gonna
the
be able,
mindset you gotta
yeah,
have. Like,
no
cause
one's gonna
life
be
is
able
gonna
to
throw
do this.
punches.
Yeah, like that is so motivating for me. And then choosing to do this particular type of business, I'm like, and being an artist, I'm like, as long as I'm true to myself, I'm going to continue to attract the people that feel me.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
you come in. That's where the people online come in. And I've just been. It's just letting me know I'm doing the right thing. You
Yeah.
get that
You
warm,
definitely
fuzzy
are.
feeling of like, oh, this is all
Please keep
positive.
doing it. Please keep doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah. This is where it comes from. That's what makes me happy.
What made you really get into art? Like I know you're a creative, but at what point I guess when you were younger just kind of made you get more serious about art? You know what I mean?
So I've been drawing since I literally can remember. Okay, like
Hmm.
that, like I was just like that. But I know one of the reasons. There's two reasons I was a really, really good artist, especially when I was younger. One reason is I was pretty much born Jehovah's Witness, which is a whole other thing within itself. But I
Yeah.
was always at meetings.
Hmm.
We had a lot of meetings. It was like 2 or 3 meetings a week, and I would just draw. Like even if I couldn't read, I would just draw. And so I was drawing God's kingdom. I was drawing paradise. I was drawing animals. And so you get good because you got a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing is I was always really bad at math. So like in school, especially during like the math sessions or my math classes, I was drawing. Like I was just always drawing, or when it comes to my other courses, I got done with my other courses and like my work faster than anyone else. I would draw. So I
Yeah,
just had
okay.
so much time. And that's why I say it's like it didn't really start anywhere.
It's
Um,
just something you kind of always did.
it was compulsive because I
Okay.
could listen and write at the same time, and I couldn't even focus if my hands weren't moving.
So I have to ask because my first wife was actually born in Jehovah's Witness as well. How
Okay.
has that been in your life being I don't know your sexuality, are you lesbian, bi?
Bisexual.
Okay. So how has that been in your life in terms of that?
Oh, I'll tell
I
you,
loaded
realizing,
question, I'm sorry.
dang, you go with the heavy hitting questions. Okay.
Hey, hey, but
Uh,
I mean, I'm sure it probably affected my ex-wife in the same ways.
Oh, well, first of all, I mean, I think that if you're born into a religion, you should analyze it deeply because I've always felt like we're talking about my soul here. So I
Yeah.
can't take anyone's word for anything, And what was great about being a Jehovah's Witness is we always had to go to the Bible, go to the Bible, go to the Bible. So I was very, very motivated. I was very, very studious in what I learned. But the where things started breaking off is when my questions were no longer getting answered. I
Mm,
know,
mm,
like, because my brain kept just going. It never ended. It never
mm.
ended. The questions never stopped. I would do my own studies on my own, because I enjoyed it. Because again, we're talking about my soul, and this is
Yeah.
a passion for me of discovering who I am, and I could do that through my love of God, my understanding of nature, my understanding of the universe. So I had to keep going, and
Mhm.
so that was that, right? And then just learning. I mean, to be real, like my sexuality was the easiest part about well, I'm gonna say I'm not a Jehovah's Witness anymore. So my sexuality was like, I don't know, I wasn't even really like in it, to be real, like the person that was teaching me the Bible, she was a sister at the hall. She was a total lesbian and she was the sweetest person in the world, but her mental guilt was very hard on her. It was very
Oh
hard. And I
yeah.
was like, I don't want to live a life of like guilt and secretness or whatever the word
Mhm.
is. Like,
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like, I got to be who I am. And I know that with my relationship with God, that's what that's what I need to be my best
Right.
self. Like, me lying to myself is going to do what, but make me feel like a terrible person
Right.
for
Right.
something that is what I consider just not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It's just not a big
Mhm.
deal. But really my journey with religion is a lot deeper. The sexuality is, man, whatever. Like that was the
That's just
easy part.
it, it is what it is, right? It's
Yeah,
just
it
like
is what it is. That's not
I
what
think,
that's not what
me and my wife, we talk about it a lot because we're 13 years apart. So she's
Mhm,
older than I am, but she came out later in life than I did.
mhm,
And so a lot of the things that she talks about is like she wishes that she would have done it sooner because she was so worried about, how her parents would treat her or how, people would view her or, things like that. But now that she is being her whole self, she's so much happier. And I guess like for me, it was something that I always knew. And I mean, I didn't live in secret, but it wasn't something that I just presented to people as well either. So I mean, once my mom asked me and I just told her, and it just kind of became what it was. Like
right,
it's just who I am. But it's not like I wear a label on my forehead and be like, hey, I'm a lesbian. Like, look at me, So,
right.
but people, that's what I guess people really get caught up in. It's like, oh, like once you hear that someone's sexuality is anything but straight, like everything else they are, like it goes out the window.
Right. And you know, it really isn't anyone else's position to judge or to put you in your place in this life
Hmm.
because we're all going through our things.
Hmm.
And I understand that being in that culture, it does allow for that for someone to tell you, you know, and they'll, you know, they can handle the Bible however they want to. But I'm here to live a life of happiness, and I feel like my energy is best grown and
Hmm.
expanded if I
Hmm.
am who I am, what I am, and I am the utmost of that. I need to
Yeah.
be. I need to be that. And this is, I mean, when I tell you from the moment I came out the hospital, I was in the hall. You know what I'm saying? And I've
Mm.
never got baptized. I was studying to get baptized, but I never did. Um, but if I ever did get baptized, I could get shunned
Mm.
basically for not being in the hall or for going against the rules of the hall, which is basically where everyone that I was raised with at that time could ignore me, including family.
Hmm.
They have to act like you don't pretty much don't exist until you like apologize or whatever the case might be. But
Oh wow.
oh yeah, and but you know, and I started looking into the history of Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't want to go into it too much, just because it's like for people that still are Jehovah's Witnesses.
Hmm.
If that's what you need to be your better self, then do that.
You
But
educated
I'm just
me
saying,
because
yeah,
there's actually a lot that I didn't know about it. I was married to her, but she wasn't really in it by that point because we were
yeah.
young
If
and
that's what you need to
dumb.
be a better person, then do that. But it's like I'm also not going to live with. I mean, and two is now that I'm not one. I even realized so many years later a lot of programming that I had to work myself out of.
Oh wow.
You know,
Okay.
so that's been a really interesting journey too. But I really like that. That's why I said that could be a whole other thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just religion. It doesn't have to just be Jehovah's Witnesses, but like religion in the whole that it can have on you mentally is
Right.
an amazing human condition.
Yeah.
It's
No,
amazing.
I feel you. I feel you.
It's
I
amazing.
almost need a drink on that one. That was real.
For real, but there's nothing that guides. First of all, I absolutely believe in a creator. I believe in higher energy. I do believe in these things, and I believe our conscience is there for a reason. These inner
Hmm.
thoughts are here for a reason, and I feel like as long as I'm doing good, spreading my love, I'm manifesting, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm just going to let that be my guiding light right now because I don't think anyone's in a position to tell me, you know
Right.
what I'm saying, who I am. I know who
Right. Right.
I'm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
take it or leave it.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, okay. I really, really appreciate you doing this interview. It's been awesome. Hopefully, in the future, we do a follow up interview to see where you go. So, yeah, thank you for being a part of my project.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you for having me. This has been delightful.
Thank you. I was kind of nervous. I'm not gonna lie. It was my first interview, so I was like, but
Is
I'm a
it
people person, so I talk to people all the time. I don't have an issue with that. But it seems like as soon as you cut a camera on, you'd be like,
really?
Uh, and being inside since COVID, like all we do is sit in front of cameras now. So you think that I would be kind of used to it, but sometimes I get a little butterflies, and then once I feel a person out, I'm like, okay, I can relax. It's cool.
Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. It's a muscle. And you know what? I don't know if this is going to be included or not, but this is just between you and I. So I was a personal trainer, and my mentor, being a personal trainer, he taught me. He said, "You're not nervous. You're excited.
Oh, you might be right, because yeah,
You're not nervous. You're excited." And
okay,
I had to remember that because when I with like the little butterflies when they come in, I'm not nervous. I'm just ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, yeah, okay,
oh,
I have to use that. Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Because you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing, and I don't know everything that you're going through, but I do know that if you were able to make the time to do this and to reach out to me, which which I thought is a pretty amazing thing because you're going for where you see yourself and not just where you are,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and this is
And
what
I want that message to get to other people too. Like, don't worry about where you are right now. Think about where you're going. You know.
right.
So yeah.
This is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is
Okay.
it.
Well, I appreciate you, and I think my wife and I will be ordering something from you in the near future.
Well, shoot, I wish I could order something from y'all because I checked your page out. And I was like, oh, they can cook, cook. Like I'm not
Oh,
going to cook at
yeah.
all, but I was like, oh, they can cook, cook. Okay.
Yeah. If you're ever in Dallas, definitely hit us up.
I will. You know what? One of the goals in my life is to just travel more. Like I'm like born here in North Carolina, and I'm feeling this real need to get I'm in my
Oh,
cocoon,
yeah.
and I feel like the wings are in there, and
Hmm.
it's like I gotta go. I gotta go. Like this. That's how I'm feeling, and like, you know, talking to people like yourself, it's like I know there's amazing people some
Yeah.
everywhere,
And you know
everywhere.
what? It's funny you say that because I'm born and raised in Texas as well. And my wife is from Kansas City, Missouri. And she has rode motorcycles for a long time. And I got introduced to it when I started dating her. So now we ride together, and that's the way that I travel. And I've wanted to travel, and I've always been scared to
Yeah.
travel alone. So I'm like, people are crazy. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't want to go somewhere and I'm like hung up by my toenails or something, and something trains. Like, I
Yeah.
probably watch too much TV. But it's real. Like the world is
It
crazy
happens.
right now. Yeah, and I don't want to be
Yeah.
like the freak accident that happens to. But riding with her now, I get to travel so many places, and it's
That's
awesome. And I get to
wonderful.
meet so many different people and stuff. So I suggest definitely traveling, even if that means you go with your girlfriend, so that way you're not totally alone.
Oh
But
yeah, always. Yeah, I can't see myself doing it like completely by myself either. She
yeah,
got.
no, that's crazy. I don't know how people do that.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. No, this is wonderful. But definitely, stay in contact. We both got a lot of growing to do. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, well, thank you.
absolutely. All right. I don't know how to end this, so you're gonna have to end
Well,
it.
I'm about to see if I can figure this